Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. I want to talk about today retiring players, if that makes sense. So, kind of like the transition of kind of just being a player and emotionally unavailable, just hooking up, like just kind of having fun, into actually looking for something serious and kind of turning a page of being ready to like settle down and why that is challenging. And it's kind of like breaking a habit, if you will. So, for the past like 4 years of college, especially, I've been super like not interested in like meeting anybody yet. Kind of just like, I just want to have fun. Like, there's no rush. Whatever. Like, those are the years, like, especially college, to kind of just like fuck around. So, now that I've graduated college, I'm really ready to have a boyfriend and just kind of like I don't know. It gets old, the hooking up thing. It just like gets old, boring. Like I'm ready to like really care deeply about somebody. And yeah, before I get cringy and gross. That is what I'm trying to say. And so I've noticed that I've kind of been like struggling because like I feel like there's two types of girls. It's like, oh, like you just kind of fuck around, like you're having fun. And then there's girls that are like relationship types. And like those who have the relationship type like bounce from relationships because like they naturally are just like that and like know how to do that. Whereas, but like the one thing about these girls is that they can't just like fuck around and like hook up with people because they get attached. So like they could do this really well, but they can't do that really well. But then same with this. So the people who just hook up with others for fun struggle because they're really good at that, but they're not good at like I don't know, settling down and like actually like opening up and letting somebody into their lives. It's like there's been so long where I've just been like not really looking for anything serious, just kind of like a bunch of little boyfriends here and there. Um rather than like having an actual boyfriend. And so now that I'm like ready to like I don't want to say settle down because that sounds like I'm fucking 30 years old. Now that I'm ready to like fall in love, madly in love, I'm realizing it's kind of fucking hard. I feel like it's just breaking habits of like how you are, like how I act, how I am around guys. Like I'm very unserious when it comes to like men, especially when I'm going out and drinking. Like I call guys that I just meet babe all the time. I have no filter, I have no fear when talking to a man and I say something sometimes that I'm like, where did I find the balls to like say that? Like, oh, so like my place, your place, like what are we thinking? Like, what? Why did I feel comfortable to say that to a man? Anyways, this is almost like just how I am now. I would definitely say it's just like default. I don't know. So trying to break out of that because like who's gonna want to date somebody who like is like that? Because obviously like that's just looking for one thing versus like actually getting to know somebody. And so I feel like I don't even know like how to go on like a first date. I feel like 'cause I'm like I can't be myself because myself is like really bold and no filter and kind of out there. So like I feel like I have to be really reserved, but then I'm like, oh, but like my future boyfriend's gonna like love me for who I am. Like, no, like you gotta reel it in at first. And then he can get to know who you really are. But like fuck, like reel it in. You can't call him babe on the first date. Like he's gonna be fucking weirded out, you know? So I'm in the process of trying to break that habit of just like I'm trying to get out of the stage of just hooking up. Um, so that I could actually like get to know somebody and like let somebody in. Not to say that I don't have like violent trust issues and like you really got to work to get in. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just difficult. Like you got to play hard to get, but like the habit isn't to do that. It's to be like, yeah, like fuck it, whatever. Interesting to like try and navigate. And like this leads me to something that I'm dealing with right now. Not really anymore because he's a fucking liar. But when I meet somebody out or like I don't know. When I meet a guy, I assess who they are based off of first look, first interactions, first how they come up to me, how they this, how they that. And it's really quick in my really fucking quick in my mind if you have potential or if you have none at all. And if you don't have potential, but I think you're hot, then I'll still put you in a category. But that category is just like, oh, like this is just like fun and playful. And then the other category is like potential. So I'll act completely different around the potential than I will the fun and playful. So this leads me to discuss kind of going backwards, reverse order of if you're hooking up with somebody super like how do you jump ship into the other category? And for me, no one will. It's nearly impossible for us to just be hooking up and for it to be unserious and like playful and you to be in this side of my life, for you to cross over that bridge to have potential and like actually be my boyfriend one day. Cuz I don't believe in for myself any relationship, a successful relationship, to start off as just like hooking up. I think, call me traditional, but like that's just not it. Like take me out to dinner, buy me flowers, meet my parent. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's all fucking backwards now. But anyways, going from just hooking up and then like trying to get to know somebody, I feel like never works cuz it's like, oh, well, like I was just in your bed last week, but then next week it's like, oh, but I want to like take you out to dinner. Like I want to get to know you. It's like, oh, like that's weird because like we've already hooked up. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is relatable to anybody, if I'm being honest, but like even last summer I was seeing this guy and like we hooked up and then like the next week he like asked to take me out to dinner and like my initial thought was like, oh, that's weird. Like, why? That's kind of twisted, but like I don't know, it's just kind of like, oh, like aren't we like just hooking up casually? Like why would you don't want to like take me out to dinner? Um and that's my downfall because like that's kind of wrong to think like that, but it's just kind of how I think. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like once like we hook up, it's just like your chances of there like actually being like serious potential is just like kind of gone. Another thing that's kind of difficult about being like a one of those girls that's like just wants to have fun and like keep it casual versus like relationship is that like obviously you kind of get like that reputation and like people like know like if you're one or the other in my opinion. And I'm always curious like how far that takes you because in my opinion like I don't know, I try not to judge somebody before I meet them based off of what other people think of them. One, that could be really fucking stupid because a lot of the time there's warning signs. Um where it's like, oh, watch out for him, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna give him a chance. Like I do that by default. Like, yeah, I have a huge fucking guard up, but I always do. Is it gonna make my guard a little bit higher? Yeah, but I'm still gonna give you a chance if you're like actually putting in the work. You just like have to put in the work. Um, I won't entertain it if it's like no potential. I always say that. Like I won't entertain shit if I don't see a potential because otherwise I'm wasting your time and you're wasting mine. And I don't fuck with that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I try and like not ignore the warnings, but like give somebody a chance because I feel like I have been a victim to reputations like since fucking high school. And it's really a shame when people don't choose to get to know you and kind of just run with what everybody else says about you. And so like because I've been through that a handful of times, um I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Um which is probably crazy, but I would hope people would do the same for me. And like actually get to know me for who I am and like make their own judgment on me. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is just something to navigate, like especially just graduating college and like in my early 20s. It's like trying to transition from just like having fun the past couple years to like actually look like I'm very ready to find somebody and like figuring out how to like transition, not just like how I interact with like men, but also just like the mindset of it. Like I don't know. I think I default like feel like I have to have the power in something, but it's like that's such a bad way to look at something or like at like a potential relationship because it's like that's just not healthy. So it's kind of just shifting the mindset that I feel like is going to be difficult and is something that I'm working on, but it's kind of tough. I feel like I've just been yapping on and on about this. So I'm going to go. Um yeah, I hope that was relatable to anybody because I'm starting to feel like I'm fucking crazy for thinking like that. And I feel like it's just all twisted and very wrong. Um, maybe I should see a fucking therapist. Like, fuck. Anyways, bye guys.